Hello everyone, my name is Kim. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 review. I don't know why, but every time I say that I have to do his voice. It just feels right. But yeah, TakeOver War Games was great. I loved it and Jesse loved it. We really enjoyed it. As per usual, it was, as far as I can say, my favorite pay-per-view of the year. So far at least, which with TLC presumably being the last pay-per-view they're going to be having this year, I don't think it's going to be beaten. Now, I will say WrestleMania and Royal Rumble were both also very, very good shows. Royal Rumble was probably my favorite pay-per-view of the year from the main roster. Probably also had one of my favorite moments of all time, that being Edge returning in the Royal Rumble match. Probably one of my favorite matches of the year from the main roster was the Royal Rumble from this year. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what WWE does for the Royal Rumble in 2021, because it's supposed to be, I guess, different because of the pandemic. What I'm hoping for is they do three 10-man Royal Rumbles, and then just have the last three fight it out in an elimination match or something. I don't know. I would like to see something kind of interesting if they're going to really be doing something different. Or maybe there was the old WCW event, World War III, with 3 rings, which I think basically was the same premise I just described, where they fought down to 3 people left out of, like, I think it was 30 men in total in 3 different rings. And then they were, like, I think it was 10 people a ring, and they fought down to the final 3. I believe. I could be wrong. If I am, and you know more about it, please do let me know. I was never a big WCW fan, and I wasn't really alive during the time WCW was running anyway, so I know based off of my limited knowledge of what it sounds like, and I think what it's been described as in the past, in reviews and stuff that I've seen of it. But I'm very excited to see what they decide to do with the Royal Rumble this year. I hope it's something interesting, because it really does need to be, next year, not this year, whatever. You know what I mean, guys. But yeah, so I guess we'll see where it goes with the Royal Rumble in 1 month. God, it does not feel like it's already almost 2021, but I'm very happy for this year to be over. All right, so getting on to the actual pay-per-view. But by the way, I do think potentially they could do something along those lines, as that match type may have been one of the things they got in the recent deal. If you guys don't know, by the way, to get his last name back, Cody Rhodes had to basically forego a lot of the copyrights he had to former WCW show event names. A lot of people are probably going to be pissed when WWE brings back a lot of old shows. The thing is, Cody made that choice. He wanted his name back, so he sold off those rights. Also, the fact that people get pissed at WWE for bringing back the old show names, but not AEW for whatever reason. Like, huh? Like, yeah, WWE does it, but that's because they own the copyright to it. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. AEW's done the same shit. Just, personally speaking, I think it's stupid that people are bitching about it. Let them pay homage to the old shows, regardless of company. I think both companies have put on great shows when they've done the renamed events for past WCW events. Like, for instance, NXT TakeOver War Games. So let's get into it, finally, after all of the tangents I went off on. So the first match of the night was actually announced on the pre-show that it was going to be, the main show was going to be kicked off by the Women's War Games match. I thought it was a crazy idea, but I loved the fact that they did it. We had Team Shotzi, which consisted of Shotzi Blackheart, Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley, and Ember Moon, facing off against Team Candice LeRae, which consisted of Candice LeRae, obviously, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and the newly turned heel Toni Storm. What is it about War Games that makes people turn heel? Like, Dakota Kai turned heel last year at War Games, turning at War Games on Tegan Nox, on Team Ripley, which still pulled out the victory with the 2-on-4 match. And then this year, right before it, Toni Storm turns and joins Team Candice. I like the idea of it. It seems like War Games is always the one that brings out the people's true colors, and I love that fact. We had predicted Team Shotzi for both myself and Jesse. Starting the match was Ember Moon for her team and Dakota Kai for her team. Shotzi comes out in her new tank. It looked really cool. She shot the big Nerf bullet at the cage, which I thought was also really cool, because Dakota was sitting there taunting. Shotzi did go to enter the ring, but Ember was like, no, I got this, and walked forward, because obviously she has a bit of a grudge to settle with Dakota Kai, bone to pick with her, if you will. I also do want to say I love Ember's mask. It looks so cool, and I will be saying that most likely my character, if I do a 2K22 story mode, as long as she still has that gimmick and that mask is still in the game, I will be planning to use that mask as part of my character. I'm going to change it up. It's not going to be the exact mask she wears. I'm going to change it up a little bit so it's a little bit different from her actual mask, but I like the design of it, and I think it'd be kind of cool to put on a male character. Just my personal thing. So Ember immediately starts taking to Kai, going to help, especially when the timer is done, because Ember, or Team Shotzi, won the advantage this past week on NXT. Kai slammed into the cage and slides down at crossbody, crushing Kai into the cage. Kicks to the face by Kai, sunset flip neck breaker. Member number 2 for Team Shotzi is the captain herself, Shotzi Blackheart. Grabs a toolbox and a crowbar, drop kick into the corner. Shotzi starts unloading on Dakota. Kai slams Shotzi and Ember's heads into the cage walls. Shotzi drags Kai's face against the cage, explored into the corner, missile drop kick to Kai on Ember's shoulders. Member number 2 for Team... what I should specify by the way, is Dakota Kai was up on Ember's shoulders, and Shotzi did the missile drop kick off the top rope. So basically kind of a doomsday device sort of situation. Member number 2 for Team Candice is Raquel Gonzalez. They start double teaming her and try to take her down. She powers out, taking to them, powerbombs Shotzi against the cage, spins Kai's feet into Moon and Blackheart. She did kind of a like FU sort of grip on her, I guess is the best way to put it. Or maybe she had her like this. I don't know. It was one of these two. It was either here or here, but she had her like that and spun around, making Dakota kick both Shotzi and Ember Moon. Boot to Shotzi in the corner. Moon being double teamed. Kai and Gonzalez with some unique offense, taking down both Blackheart and Moon. Gonzalez is up alone as Rhea Ripley enters for Team Shotzi. So the current people in the ring are Shotzi, Ember, and Ripley, with Io Shirai being left in the cage. The current members for Team Candice in the cage are Tony and Candice, with Raquel and Dakota being in the ring. Just in case you guys forgot. Kai distracts her, boot to Kai. Gonzalez with a big hit with a big boot. Kai slammed down, knees to the face, big drop kick takes down Kai. Super kick, massive slam down. Gonzalez fighting Moon and Blackheart. Codebreaker followed by a powerbomb. Ripley opens the toolbox and gets a mallet out. Guys, remember, you're not allowed to use small hammers, only big ones. Attacks Kai with it, wraps her belt around Kai, and headbutts her twice before throwing her into the cage. Gonzalez takes down Moon and Blackheart, and Ripley slowly turns her head as she realizes. If you guys remember back, I think like 2 or so years ago, before Will Ospreay was revealed to be a massive dick, there was a match he had against somebody else in Japan, and it had this really cool shot where you kind of just see Will land on his feet, and like the shot shows like him turning his head back towards the other guy who's like down on like in a superhero pose. Basically, it was basically that she like just kind of, and they had this really cool shot, like a movie shot, where you have the one person in the background and the one person in the foreground, and it looks really well focused. And just look, I'll put it this way, it's a lot harder for WWE to do that when it's live rather than it's for a movie to do that when it's edited. So good on WWE for pulling that shot off, because it's not a very easy shot to pull off. Like, it's very difficult to get it focused properly. So the fact that they got it focused properly and it looked that good was amazing. Ripley and Gonzalez fighting in the middle, spear through the ropes, ground and pound to Gonzalez, then Ripley, then Gonzalez. Tony Storm enters, grabs some kendo sticks, German suplexes, pulls off the turnbuckle pad, kendo stick shots to Ripley, takes off more turnbuckle pads, taking down Moon and Blackheart. Team Candice is in control. Moon's hit with the kendo stick, Blackheart being hit with one too. Ripley's thrown into the cage wall by Kai. Storm takes down Shotzi as Ripley takes down Kai. Moon helps Ripley and Gonzalez helps Storm. I can't remember exactly what it ended up being, but I believe one side was a double power bomb, and the other side was maybe a neck breaker sort of power bomb combo type thing. I know Ripley and I know the Gonzalez Storm one was a power bomb. I don't remember exactly what Shotzi, Ripley, and Kai's was. Just because I don't. Or sorry, Moon, Ripley, and Moon and Ripley on Kai was. I fully don't remember what the Shotzi getting taken down by Gonzalez's Storm is, but I believe that one was a double powerbomb. The other one, a little bit more, might have been a blockbuster sort of combo thing. Io Shirai is now the final person to enter for Team Shotzi. team fully in the ring. She grabs more weapons, a ladder, slips it, sliding into the match and into the cages, as well as some kendo stick. Gonzalez stops her from going in, holds the door shut. Shirai hits her hands a few times with kendo stick. She boots the door in Shirai's face. She grabs another ladder. That gets booted into her face, and then Gonzalez shuts the door again. Moon tries to stop her. Shirai had the ladder. I already said that. Send her outside, basically into the barricaded fence area. Throws chairs in now. Enters by booting a chair into Gonzalez's face, but Gonzalez boots her out last second. So she's just going to swing in, and Gonzalez says, nah, go fuck yourself. She basically yeeted her the fuck out of there. Tony ties her belt around the door to keep her out. Shirai climbs the ladder, but Blackheart climbs the ladder? What? Climbs the cage, but Blackheart is power slammed into the side of the cage, takes her down as the timer ticks down for Lorraine to enter the match. Shirai stares her down. Indy Hartwell attacks Io outside. She helps Candice grab weapons, a trash can, another chair. Indy locks the cage with a chain, with Io not inside. The cage is still. She takes the key, drops it down her shirt, and walks the fuck away. Says, come get it. You want it? Come get it. Basically being like, hey, if you want it, you have to reach down my top to grab it. Also, I might add, I do love Indy Hartwell. She's great. I think she's fantastic. And I've loved this gimmick so far. Candice breaks kendo stick on Shotzi. Blackheart being destroyed as Team Candice whacks on her with kendo sticks. I think it was all four of them just whacking on her, wailing on her with them. They all start breaking. She tries to pin Shotzi, but the ref says, no, fucktard. Remember how the other person for that team is not in the fucking match? That means you can't technically win the match. So I'm like, Candice, you guys are so fucking stupid. She bitches in the ref's face, getting all pissy about it, and it's like, well, you're the fucking idiots who decided to attack her and leave her outside the cage. Like, you have no one to blame but yourselves. Just saying. Sometimes heels are really fucking stupid. I get the delusional dumbass heel thing is funny as fuck and it's cool to see, but god damn, sometimes they're extra stupid. Like, Cedric on Raw said, you guys, I'm tired of you guys slipping through our fingers. It's like, wait, how are they slipping through your fingers if they're beating you guys? Like, I get it. You're beating them consistently by yourself, but every time you guys face tag team or Shelton faces one-on-one, he loses it for you guys. That's not slipping through your fingers. That's you guys getting beat fair and square and you guys being whiny, delusional jackasses and not wanting to give up. Personally speaking, if you guys can't tell by my voice, I'm tired of that feud. The feud between Cedric, or between the Hurt Business and the New Day. I'm tired of it. Just fuck off. Just Hurt Business, go do your own thing. New Day, go do your own thing. I'm tired of it. Io is on top of the cage with a trash can. I thought she was going to do an over the moonsault from up there. She put the trash can on her head and dove down onto everyone, and War Games has officially begun. I'm very happy she didn't try to do the moonsault. She probably would have died. That spot itself was scary as fuck, and I'm surprised they decided to do it, but I'm very happy they did because it's War Games, man. That's the whole point. It looked great. Use the mount on Gonzalez, 619 to Tony. Candice slammed down. Team Shotzi takes over. Kai slammed down by Moon. Gonzalez is taken out with a dropkick to a chair. Over the moonsault, Team Candice breaks it up last second. Rhea slammed into the cage. Moon with a wrench, but Candice takes her down into the Gargano escape with a wrench. Submission in on Storm by Blackheart, but Candice saves it, letting go of the Gargano escape and potentially losing the victory, but saving her team from losing the match, as Storm did look like she was about to tap. Chair versus a kendo stick. Blackheart takes control. So I should mention, I don't remember exactly what Candice had initially, but she said, wait, hold on, and went and grabbed a kendo stick, and she still lost. I think it might have been the mallet, or it might have been the trash can lid. I can't remember for sure, but it was fucking hilarious to see. Blackheart takes control until Kai hits her with a chair. Dropkick to the chair, taking down Kai by Shirai. Kai trips Shirai into the corner. Kai with a kick in the corner. She did her Coda kick, or whatever the fuck it's called. I can't remember what it's called, to be honest. The haluva kick she does, which, personally speaking, I like a little bit more than the one Sammy does. No offense, Sammy. I just think the straight shot, I think hers looks a little bit more fancy, and I like the way hers looks a little bit better. Not to say they both don't fucking look painful. They both look great and painful, as they should. Double stomp to Shirai with her in a trash can, and it, like, squished in, and she couldn't get her out of it. But she finally does and covers, but Ember Moon breaks up the count. Kai attacks Moon with a chair, sits it down in front of Ember. Moon with the chair taking control, sets up the chair next to the other, sets Kai onto the chair, like throat first with her throat onto this part of the chair, basically kind of like between them almost. She then hits an Eclipse onto them. Storm breaks it up with a trash can. Moon slammed into the turnbuckle. Storm 0, Shirai breaks it up. Rhea's inverted cloverleaf. I can't exactly remember the name, and apparently neither could they. Could be because they didn't fucking say what it was called either. The dicks, they just said inverted cloverleaf. It has a name, I just don't remember what it is. Followed by a dropkick for a 2 between Rhea and Io. Ladder bridged between the two rings with a chair to help it hold up. Shotzi slammed in the corner with a ladder as LeRae sets it up and some more chairs on the ground. She climbs up after Blackheart, but she gets knocked down onto the chairs. Now, I want to specify, Candice LeRae did sadly get injured during this match, which, as far as I can tell, led to the match finish being a little bit rushed. This is most likely when it happened, as she moved the chairs over herself. Blackheart hit a senton, and the way it looked, it just looked like her arm was positioned wrong or something. But basically, as far as what's known, she was being checked out after the event. And as far as they could tell, it was a broken arm. It seemed like she did suffer a broken arm. Over the moonsault to Kai, Storm spears Ripley onto the pin. Storm dropped onto the ropes. Over the moonsault set up, but Gonzalez slams Ripley into the cage, kind of faltering Io's footing. Io resets up, but Gonzalez slams her into the cage. Fighting up on the turnbuckle, Io slammed through the ladder by Gonzalez. She pulls her down for a 3 count. Team LeRae wins 18 out of 10, 0-1 on predictions. It was a great match, but again, I feel like the ending may have been rushed because of the injury that Candice suffered. Hopefully it's not bad, like I said. I also wonder if maybe they would have changed, if they changed that from the original ending. Maybe Team Blackheart was initially supposed to win. And Jesse, to make a point, why would they not change? Why would they change the ending if Candice didn't have anything to do with it? And because the thing is, the way I look at it, at least, and I know this is gonna be kind of convoluted and weird, but here's the thing: they could have easily changed it from Team Blackheart winning to Team Candice winning if the setup one involved Candice, which it could have, the final minutes could have involved Candice being the one taking the pin, which yes, somebody else could have taken the pin unless they didn't really want that person to take the pin. They want Candice's sort of losing streak thing to continue. However, the other reason I think it could have ended earlier and with a different ending than initially is because the longer an injured person stays in a match, which I want to remind you guys, you cannot leave War Games once it begins. If you leave, your team forfeits, meaning Candice couldn't just duck out of the match and silently walk away like if it was a Royal Rumble, where if she got injured mid-match, she could just take herself over the top rope, get out, and walk away, which has happened in the past. I think it even happened at this previous year's Royal Rumble. But with War Games, you can't really do that, and with all the chaotic stuff going on, you have to be very careful because you don't want to make the injury worse than it already is. So I wonder if maybe Team Blackheart was initially supposed to win the match, and then because of Candice being injured, they had to call it off. They had to change the ending. They had to rework it. And you can see Shotzi talking with the ref at one point, one of the outside refs saying, I'm assuming saying, hey, Candice is hurt. We need to quickly get this up. And then I think another ref forayed that to Raquel and Io, which is why I think that was the final spot. I think that was the biggest spot they had set up around this time, or maybe they had that spot for later in the match with somebody else going through it, but Io and Raquel decided, okay, slam me through this, we'll finish the match like that, and making Io be the person to lose the match 2 years in a row by the exact same thing, being slammed through an object. Last year, she got the avalanche riptide through the table, which I believe it was her who got hit with that for Team Ripley to win, and this year for Team Candice to win, she got slammed through a bridged ladder. Again, who knows? We may never know if this was the original ending, if Team Candice was always supposed to win, what the rest of the match would look like or anything like that. A lot of things change when an injury happens, and all I can say is I hope a speedy recovery for Candice LeRae, because, yeah. But I did look it up. As far as we know, like I said, it is most likely a broken arm. There's no real update as of yet, at least from when this was just right after the pay-per-view when I looked this up. I haven't looked it up again since. And again, can't find anything on if that was the original ending or not, because, again, it's probably not going to be well known for at least maybe 20 years. But it might, like, literally, the best I could see is Stone Cold's Broken Skull Pod sessions or something along those lines, or maybe a table for 3 situation with them talking about it and basically ended up saying, yeah, this is what happened, it wasn't supposed to go that way and it changed, and it happens. It does happen. People get injured sometimes. Then we had a little backstage promo with Finn Balor telling everyone to enjoy War Games because this Wednesday all eyes go back on the Prince, meaning Finn Balor will be back on Wednesday. No real confirmation of, I'm assuming he's going to have a match because we have already seen him cut promos back in the ring. We saw that 2 weeks ago when the Undisputed Era came back and War Games was officially announced as the Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee and his band of Stooges. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see him back in action. Match number 2 is a men's singles match. We have Tommaso Ciampa versus Timothy Thatcher. Prediction was Ciampa for both. Ciampa had a nice new fancy attire for the TakeOver. It kind of reminded me of Shredder from TMNT, just with a little bit of differences. Ciampa and Thatcher with a massive ground fight as the match starts. Thatcher trying for submissions as Ciampa goes for brutal moves, focusing on destroying Thatcher, because that's Tommaso's thing. Thatcher with a big uppercut takes down Ciampa. He's getting checked on. This whole match legit focused on his throat. Like, that's where his surgery for his neck went through. It went through his throat. Thatcher right back on the attack as soon as Ciampa tells the ref that he's fine. It focuses on the throat again and again. Thatcher tries to pin Ciampa, but the ref catches Thatcher's foot under the rope, which I don't fully know why, but Ciampa's still trying to continue the fight as Thatcher keeps with some violent submissions focused on the neck. Ciampa gets in some offense, but Thatcher takes back over. Double underhook, but Ciampa somehow reverses it, slamming down Thatcher. I don't know how he reversed it, but I love the fact that he did. It looks so interesting and weird. Trading strikes, collision between the two, taking them both down with lots of pain in the head. Ciampa taking control, takes down Thatcher. Ciampa picks him up to the top turnbuckle. Superplex, but also a lot of pain to Ciampa. Gets a 2 count out of that. Fairy tale ending is avoided. Double throat chop, guillotine lockdown on Ciampa. Ciampa gets out of it by slamming Thatcher to the outside. Thatcher gets in at 7. Ciampa gets in at 9. Double throat chop is missed. Ciampa takes control. Big knees. Very unique submission in on Thatcher. Thatcher fights up to his feet into the ropes. His ear is bleeding profusely after the running knee from earlier. German suplex to Ciampa. Thatcher's in control. Fights on the apron. Sets up for a German suplex, but Ciampa gets free. Boot to Thatcher. Willow's bell is avoided. Ciampa's hung up on the rope. Uppercuts, backslide, but Thatcher hits the ropes. Chops to Thatcher as he's caught in the ropes. Big punt kick, guillotine on the ropes. Willow's bell hits. Ciampa wins 12 out of 10, 1-1 on predictions. Now, normally, I don't really love the more technical ground and pound brawls like this. You know, I'm more into basically the exact opposite of this type of match. This is the type of match that Thatcher's really well known for. I'm usually not really into these types of matches. I'm into the War Games and the TLCs and the violent, destructive matches. You know, death match type shit. You know, that's my cup of tea. That's my sort of bread and butter when it comes to wrestling. So I like the weapon-based combat. I like the crazy shit where people are getting busted open and bloody and they have thumbtacks going into this stuff like that. That's my sort of thing. But this match, for being a ground and pound brawl type match, technical sort of match, it was brutal and hard hitting. Like, it was great. I loved it. And Thatcher was busted open, and it's always nice to see a jackass getting a little bit bloody. Thatcher looks like a sad little angry bitch as he hobbles up off the ring apron. Ciampa stares him down as he stands up from the apron to go into the ring to get his hand raised, and they do not stop staring at each other the entire time Thatcher walks up the ramp. Like, it's just fucking staring daggers at each other, man. Match number 3 is the men's strap match. Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes. Prediction was Lumis for both. Grimes tries to use his own strap, but, you know, the ref's like, no, we got to use this strap. Grimes says it's his or no strap, and he looks over at Lumis. He's like, you good with that? And he's like, doesn't move. Just sits there like, so, like, okay. Grimes attacks beforehand, takes advantage over Lumis because he cheated. He doesn't actually have the strap on Lumis yet, so he's able to get an advantage there. Grimes uses the strap to take control. Lumis does start to get a little bit of control in there. Drops him down with some punches. Lumis gets the strap on, and the bell rings. Ding-a-ding-ding. Grimes is trapped now. Lumis is in control. Grimes tries to climb over the barricade, gets pulled back down, and hit with an uppercut. Grimes is slammed into the barricade, and again into the barricade on the other side, actually moving the barricade off of its center a little bit. Grimes gets a bit of offense back in as Lumis is tossed over the barricade. Grimes yanks him back over the barricade, chokes Lumis with the strap, slams him into the timekeeper's area. More attack in the eyes, slamming him with the other strap. Grimes grabs it out and puts the bag over Lumis' head, completely blinding him while whipping him with the second strap. Lumis is on the ground, blinded and being whipped by Grimes. Big spinebuster to Grimes as he pulls the bag off his head. Lumis pulled into the steel post to keep the cells held together like the big steel girders for the War Games match. Big PK to Lumis, another one. Loomis yanks him off the apron, taking control back again. German suplex into the top turnbuckle by Grimes. Attacks with the chair by Grimes, taunting like a moron. More chair shots. Sits down in the chair to taunt more because he's a fucking dumb southern idiot. And before anyone gets all bitchy, I have southern roots. I can fully say that because he's being a dumb southern son of a bitch. Caught as he goes for a crossbody, overhead release, power slam, lots of punches by both of them. Grimes pulls Loomis down off the top rope. Crossbody is caught by Grimes and he gets a 2 count. He did that weird flippy thing he does. I don't really know what to call it, but you guys know what I mean, where they catch you in midair and he just kind of somehow flips to where he's on. It's confusing. I don't understand how the physics of it work, but it looks cool every time it's hit. Lots of punches by both of them. Grimes pulls Loomis down off the whoops, I fucking already said that. Loomis trying to get in silence, trips Grimes up, hitting his face on the chair. Silence is locked in, which I guess is what his submission's called. I never knew that. Grimes taps, 2-1 on predictions, 15 out of 10. I thought it was a great match. We don't really see strap matches often, but when they do, they get extra violent, and there's a lot of hard-hitting offense between the people in the match, especially with these two, and I think it was a really great way to close off the feud, and it was a good job for Loomis because he got the win, and yeah, Loomis is great. I love Dexter Loomis. He's fantastic. He's probably one of my favorite stars in NXT right now. I like the fact that he doesn't talk. He kind of is like a beefed-up, sadistic Orange Cassidy in that regard, and I love it. Loomis is great. I see great things for his character. I see no promos in his future as well, which sometimes promos drag down a character. The lights flicker off and on, and some spooky shit shows up, some vultures, crows, stuff like that. TikTok is heard, and Karrion Kross and Scarlett are going to be making their return very, very soon, it looks like. I'm very excited for this, as I feel like Karrion didn't really get to do as much as he should have back in when he debuted. He won the championship, got injured in that match, then went to go have surgery. The title was vacated. Finn Balor won it. He got injured in his first defense. The guy he was facing got injured in that defense, and both of them had to take some time off, and Finn Balor is just about to be cleared again, and Karrion Kross is being booked to return. Oh, I'm very excited for this. I feel like we're going to get Kross versus Balor very, very soon. We may even see Kross this Wednesday. Sorry, today, because I forgot I'm recording this on Wednesday. I'm very excited. I very am. That's going to do it for this part of the review, though, guys. I'm going to put this in a two-parter just because I have 2 more matches to go, and the men's... Like, I'll give you an explanation. So I'm currently on page 8, where match 4 starts for the review. That match ends the beginning of page 10, or sorry, the beginning of page 11, which is where match 5's review starts. And this thing is 16 pages long. So yeah. Or I'm on page 9, and at the beginning of page 9, where match 4 starts. So, yeah, it's a long review for the final 2 matches. So, I'm going to put it into a second part. Hope you guys enjoyed the first part. I'll see you all in the second one. Stay golden. Peace.